previous module, we had an overview of program planning in an early childhood education centers. In the current module, we are going to discuss about the types of program planning and a teacher's role in implementing it. After this module, the learners will be able to apprise the different types of program planning and identify the teacher's roles and responsibilities in planning a preschool program. A good early childhood program is to be planned and executed effectively so that the needs of each and every child is met individually, and it should cater to the needs of the children in the group too. Effective planning is a vital necessity for an early childhood education program. The following components of planning are imperious for effective transaction of teaching learning in the early childhood education centers. Planning of program in early childhood education centers is usually carried out in three facets. They are long-term program planning, medium-term program planning, and short-term program planning. This is the aspect of program planning that enhances the learning process of children over a year and is also concerned with the child's right for an extensive and balanced curriculum, addressing the long-term goals of all domains of development. It encompasses the span of a time that a child spends in an early childhood education setting. It could mean from 6 months to 6 years. Due considerations need to be given to the planned program to check whether the program covers all the essential elements of the given curriculum, and also to check if other significant aspects of the settings has been included. Usually, educating children less than 6 years of age is done only through daily experiences which need to cover all the domains of development. But we should be aware that certain aspects within those areas of learning are to be emphasized in different ways from one term to the next. The long-term plan summarizes the general content of the areas that need to be covered for the entire year. It serves as a basic guide for the year to include the types of activities that are to be planned to meet the goals of early childhood education centers. An early childhood educator can apply different strategies to develop a plan for the year. First, consider the developmental milestone that the children are expected to achieve for their ages. Secondly, enlist the kinds of activities that will help children of that age to learn and progress. And lastly, trace the sequence of activities in which they should happen and decide on the order in which the activity should be offered. This implicates certain sequencing principles, that is, from the known to the unknown. Start with what the children already know and build on this. For example, first the children will learn about the happenings within their family in their daily lives. Next, they will explore what happens around them in the society, and subsequently children will be ready to learn about things that are not familiar to them. From the concrete to the abstract. That means young children will learn when they can explore through seeing and touching real things, and later will be able to understand the pictures and for things they see in real life. From simple to complex. Start with simple ideas and then move on to the more complex one. A child will understand that aeroplanes fly through air, but they will take time to understand the complex conflict of what makes the aeroplane to fly through the sky. Use a calendar for the year to mark the school and national holidays and any other important community events. Divide the activity into the school terms. Look at the plan to see if there is a balance of activity or activities are creative and planned for each developmental area and each group. Is there a variety of free play and group activities, or the activities divided more or less equally for each term? Is there enough time for children to practice their skill? Medium-term planning is usually a breaking of long-term planning into segments to aid in the effective implementation of the intended curriculum. It takes into consideration the general interest of the children across different groups. It addresses the continuity, progression from one stage in each area of learning to the next and from one setting or class to the next, based on the long-term goals and policies and principles of curriculum. It needs to identify skills, knowledge and dispositions to which the children will be introduced over a specific period of time. In this aspect of planning, the curriculum may be comprehended as most efficiently planned by relating the different areas of learning through themes or topic. The most effective medium-term plan depicts the evaluation of concepts, skills, knowledge and attitudes in each area of development. Most of the childhood educators find it helpful to have a medium-term plan that offers more aspects for each term or each month. Most early childhood educators find that they can plan their weekly and daily activities using the early plan, which is broken down into terms as a framework. For example, once the child have begun to identify the colors and shapes of any objects like fruits or vegetables, then the early childhood educator can plan for further complex concept of assorting the objects. This planning is generally based on the needs of individual child in the group. It is concerned with weekly or daily activities laid out with differentiation and planning for needs of the specific groups and individual children. It provides all the details of activities, experiences, resources, groupings and teaching strategies which were identified through ongoing observations and assessment of young children. What is to be taught is already in place at the long-term and medium-term planning stage, and now is the time to make decision about how these concepts, skills and attitudes ought to be introduced to the children in the ways that are relevant and meaningful. The short-term plan for weekly and daily activities is based on the long-term plan. The short-term plan provides the details of exactly what the early childhood educators will do. Early childhood educators usually combine a weekly with a daily plan. It is this stage of planning that early childhood educators think about the individual developmental needs and interest of children in their groups and plan ways to meet them. Program planning is determining what needs to be done, who does what, when and where. There are two crucial elements in program planning: the program itself and the interest and involvement of children or students or parents in the program. Success of any teaching learning center depends upon the planning and execution of programs and idea. Thank you.